Hello, my name is John Hayes. I'm a security training engineer at Palo Alto Networks, and for the next few minutes I want to be talking about what a heap spray is, which is a technique that's used to attempt to compromise endpoints. So a lot of people come up and say, hey, what is a heap spray? And how does it infect a system? Well, heap spray necessarily doesn't infect a system. It is a technique that is used of one of many steps to attempt to infect a system. Now, before we get started with what the heap spray is, let's do a little computer background information. So some of this is basic, but I just want to be sure that we've got all the bases covered here. So if we start at the very bottom here, this is going to be our hardware. And our hardware generally consists of four main or major components that every hardware component needs to have. So we have CPU, we have disk, we have network, and we have memory. Now we're going to focus upon the memory component here because heap spray is a memory technique, corruption technique that we have. So this is the hardware. When you launch an operating system, in this particular case, it's going to be Windows. So the Windows OS is going to go down to the hardware and determine what hardware is available. One of the things that it does is it determines how much memory that this particular hardware has, and then assigns or reserves that specific memory for the different applications that need to run on it. So the memory that gets loaded into the operating system is commonly referred to as physical memory. Now, when an application, in this example we'll say Microsoft Word, comes out and launches, that application is going to ask for memory from the operating system. So in the space of the application here that we have, we're going to have different memory types that are going to be allocated. We have what's known as a code region. We have memory that's allocated for the stack. And then we also get assigned what's known as heap. You can probably tell where we're going to be going here with this, right? Now the code region is designated for executable files, so anything that gets loaded as far as execution is maintained in the code region here. The stack region that we have basically provides pointers in the memory to where certain things are located at. It stores memory registers. Where do I go to retrieve this particular binary file? Where do I need to go to load this particular type of component into memory? So this stack is designed for that. The heap, on the other hand, is where the data files get loaded into. So in the heap, when I load an application, such as Microsoft Word, and I have a Word document that I need to look at, I'm going to load that information in the heap. Now, when we talk about the heap here, that, if I'm using an exploit to attempt to gain access to the system, is where the bad guy is going to put that malicious code. Now, that malicious code also generally coexists with real code as well, so the application will really open. But what we're trying to do is we want to be able to, somewhere within this memory space, I'll hit that specific code so that I can advance or run that malicious program within memory itself. Now, if I've got a large memory space right here and I put that malicious code in just one location, what are the chances are that that specific code will be hit? So a technique that is used to increase the chances of running that malicious code or pointing to that specific code is called heap spray. Instead of putting that specific code in just one location within the heap, what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate that in different locations within the actual heap memory location. The more locations that I put that specific malicious code, the better the chances that I have of running that specific code on that specific applications. A couple of things to be aware of, right? When we talk about heap spray, this particular type of technique is embedded in non-executable files, Word documents, Excel documents, PowerPoint documents, Swift files. So the idea, the concept here for heap spray is to be able to pepper the memory with as many locations as possible with that malicious code so that I have a better chance of hitting it. Now, when we talk about attempting to take over a system itself, right, using an exploit, and this is a technique that's used for that, there's more than one technique that's always used. This in itself is not a compromise of the system immediately. It is the first step to attempt to run the malicious code. So there are other things that may have to take place within the heap itself to run that malicious code. We may have to circumvent other types of security mechanisms that the operating system would have, such as data execution prevention, which prevents code in the heap from running as an executable file. So this is only one step of many that are used to attempt to gain the system. So I hope this little demonstration has provided a good explanation on one specific exploit technique that is used to attempt to compromise systems. Thank you for watching.